All right, and we are live. Welcome, everyone. It is now week 6 of our ongoing series, Nerd Side Chats. Today, we're going to be talking about episode 7 of Agatha All Along, Death's Hand in Mine. The end of last week, we told you guys that we were working hard. We were pounding the pavement. We were in the bushes, and we were going to bring you special guest stars because I know you love me and Tim's handsome faces, but sometimes you just need a little bit more. So right next to me on the right of your screen, that handsome man is Tim. Tim and Dan, we are the Nerd Champs. Directly below me, you have Jared from the N6P, back from week 1 of Nerd Side Chats. He was supposed to be here the whole time, but he's back from his week 1. No, it wasn't week 1. It was week 2. He missed week 1.
Some of which was not his fault. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And in the bottom corner, we have joining us for the first time live, the Bone Bridger.
I'm here to get them banned off YouTube. I'm just kidding. I would never do that. Just kidding. But I am excited to be here.
We've already been banned once. So the Nerd Side Chats has been
that's right. They came for you.
They did. They came hard, man. It's crazy.
Disney knew that Tim did not like Agatha All Along.
Yeah. I mean, you guys got a rep ever since the Acolyte. They know.
That's right.
They know all about you.
So the Acolyte, they came hard for us, man.
Mm-hmm.
So this week, let's open the floor with the Bone. What did you think this week when you watched Agatha All Along?
I'm so excited for this because I know how fun this is going to be because I trolled y'all really hard. So I hadn't started the show yet, and I sat there and I was like, this was like 2 days ago, and I was like, do I binge it? Or do I start with episode 7? Do I start with it? And I started with episode 7. I have notes. Y'all are not ready because I have no idea who Agatha is from the comics, just the show. So I've got notes. I'm excited to talk about it. I'm really excited to talk about April Ludgate's character, who seems to be pretending to be the Grim Reaper in some Wizard of Oz fantasy with Jaden Pinkett Smith, I guess, or Willow Smith, Will Smith's son, is running around. And there's all the people that got rejected for the Hocus Pocus characters, like they were going to be the witches in Hocus Pocus. They got rejected. They're in this too. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, Jared, what were your reactions this week?
How do I follow that? How do I follow that?
I got a whole thing of notes.
Yeah.
He summed it up perfectly. It was so good. I couldn't imagine jumping in on episode 7 and knowing what was happening.
Oh, God. No. It's a total. So. I mean, they did have a pretty in-depth previously on to start this week, but I don't know.
I skipped it. I didn't want to cheat. Yeah, I didn't want to cheat. I skipped it. Honest, I skipped it. I went straight in to write it at the beginning of this episode.
I'm so jealous because I should have done this whole time. I'm so jealous.
My world. This was something.
Oh, God, I couldn't imagine with no context.
Yeah, so y'all need to take it away, and I'll chime in with what I thought in the moment, like the dangers of playing cards and like what that can lead to and stuff.
Yeah. So, Tim, do you want to give us kind of a rundown of the events this week?
Okay, so I'll just kind of give some cliff notes here. Yeah, what we had end up happening was when we left last week, it was Agatha and Billy. It had been revealed that this is Billy Maximoff. And they decided that they were going to pursue the road alone. They came to the next house. They go in the house, and it's obvious this was supposed to be, the name is spelled Lila, but they pronounce it Lilia, I guess. So this is supposed to be Lilia's challenge because she is the fortune teller. So she was supposed to be doing the tarot reading. She was not there. However, contrary to what we thought last week, she did not die when she went into the quicksand. Apparently, the road has like a sewer, and the way you get there is by going through the quicksand. Freaking weird, but that's the way that it is. So basically, she came to some bookcase because she had some premonition, and that showed her that was going to take her to the challenge. she thought that the challenge was going to be her reading Billy, but it turned out to be her reading herself. And then at the very end of the challenge, she sacrificed herself, and in order to kill the Salem 7, and the rest of them can continue on the road. So that's where we left off.
Yeah.
Is that a good summation? That's a pretty good summation.
That's
all right.
Where we need to go. What you didn't address, we had a very interesting structure. And God, of all the things to start with, the structure of this episode. So for those who don't know, Lila has appeared to be crazy for the last 6 episodes. And she just randomly bursts things and goes into outer space. And we finally get to see her perspective. Lila's perspective is that she is jumping randomly through time. Mm-hmm. And we experience this episode. She's our POV character for the majority of the episode. So we follow her as she jumps through timelines. And that's how she's perceiving things. One minute she's a child with her grandmother or mother, whoever that is. The next minute, it's before they even started on the road. And then she's in one trial and then a different trial. And her conversation all makes sense from her perspective because it's linear the way she's experienced it. That was an interesting concept. I don't know if they landed the plane on the execution. I think I might have seen that concept executed better in other films and TV shows. But it was a swing that they went through. I thought it was okay. Let's check the comments. We got a few up here. We got Barry Allen is slow. R.I.P. to the Salem 7. I don't know which one I'll miss the most. The creepy one in the robe, the creepy one in a robe, or maybe the creepy one in a robe. So they were all creepy ones in a robe. Do we think the Salem 7 is actually dead, or do we think they're done for this series? Do we think we'll see them again? What do we think about that?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
I could not care less if we see them again, and I could not care less if I see anybody from the series again. It's honestly just one of those shows. I don't know. It's very clear what Marvel's purpose was for this show, so I'm just kind of over it. So yeah.
Well, did anyone else wish the swords would follow them as the episode progressed, guys? If you're wanting a sword to fall on you.
Yep, for sure, definitely. It would have been awesome. So yeah.
Well, the witches were a threat they were a threat when they were doing the basement thing. And then once the basement switched over, you didn't even think about the witches. They haven't been discussed or anything. So for them to now die, there's no care.
Yeah.
And I forgot about them.
According to my notes, the Salem 7 are actually also rejected from another project. They were the Voldemort's followers, but they didn't make the team. And so I think they're coming back because Dementors, maybe something like that. Based on
maybe these are the same witches that we had in the Ahsoka show. Isn't that what wasn't there like some creepy weird witches in that show? Yeah.
I feel like these are an insult to those, and that's not saying a lot, but I feel like there was some hand movement acting going on in Ahsoka. Sure. Like there was some physical acting going on.
This was more like the 7 they were like 7 ring characters, 7 versions of the ring.
It's like the ring race.
When they
couldn't ride horses, so they got cut from the production and they ended up here.
Okay, we got Mary. Hey, Mary.
Mary,
what's
we're
up?
all here. Glad you're here too. We got our buddy Josh the Homesteader is back. Hello, everyone.
Josh, good to see you.
Josh is even more lost than you, Brome Bridger. He's coming here every week, but he has watched none of Agatha All Along.
He just thinks me and Dan are entertaining for some reason, and I don't get it.
I don't know.
I've seen Venom: The Last Dance and this episode of Agatha. If I don't watch something good soon, I have to destroy all the technology in my house. I have to get rid of all of it. It's just too risky.
Oh. Rob Bender, have you guys noticed the color of the trials directly corresponds to the order of the color of Infinity Stones introduced into the MCU? First was blue for the Space Stone and Cap, then red for Alice's, and then he keeps, I think, purple cabin for the Power Stone. This episode was gold for the Mind Stone. In Civil War, and they escaped the Iron Maiden was green for the time. Wow. I got none of it. Did you guys?
I paid attention. I paid attention so little that I did not catch any of that. You know what I mean? Like as far as the details of these shows, they're not. Yeah, I'm not going to catch Easter eggs like that in this show. They're going to have to lay it on real thick for me. But good catch there, Rob. I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
for sure.
way to go. I mean, yeah, that is some very observant stuff. And also, we did not mention. Did you mention, Tim, that in this episode?
I did not.
After Lilia or Lila, or how are we pronouncing it again?
I thought it was Lilia is what I heard them say, but it looks like it's spelled Lila. So
yeah, Lia. We'll just say that. Anyway, after she dies, she does the fall. She has a premonition. She dies from a fall. Then they lay it on real thick. The room turns upside down and say, "Oh yeah, she's gonna fall." And she falls to her death. And we do finally see what happened to Rio. She's just been missing for an episode and a half now, or a little bit more, and she is revealed, the non-reveal reveal, as Lady Death, the Marvel character. What's that? Or Death?
Lady Death is totally different.
Yeah, that's that other company's character, but we got Death. I never thought we would get the Marvel Universe embodiment of Death in film. When they chose not to use her for the Thanos line, I figured they thought the character was too far out there and they were just not going to go with, but here she is. But of course, we all saw that it's been in the comics. Funko released a pop called Death, and so everybody knew this was going to happen before.
Just like they did with Wiccan, right? I mean,
right.
And it makes me think that Marvel had to throw something out there to try to get people to watch the show. That's the way it kind of felt through the whole thing, is that they said, okay, well, we're going to give you Billy Maximoff. We're going to give you Death. That's the reason that you need to watch this show. Because I think they figured a lot of people after the first couple episodes just would have been like, click, you know what I mean? But that's, I think, why they did that reveal. But once again, because of the leaks and because of that, it was like a non-reveal reveal. It would have been a big deal had we not known, but we all knew. So,
well, I think that the Russo brothers, I think we just have to give them credit. They knew when they were working with Thanos and making Endgame and Infinity War that Death was going to need to be used in Agatha 4 to 5 years later.
Yeah,
how important she was going to be, and they said, we're not even going to touch her. We're going to let Agatha take her.
Yeah, right.
That's a really solid point. Like this perfection in a way, like it was timed perfectly. You can't,
that's right.
You couldn't have set this up any better in terms of April Ludgate pretending to be Death, cosplaying in a show called Agatha that's pretending to be a Marvel show, which I guess it kind of is. Whenever she came out as Death standing there, I only thought one thing though. I thought about David Ayer's Suicide Squad, and I thought she's like a less CGI'd version of the villain in that movie. That's what I'm seeing right now. Like the two holding the dagger and holding was it like a snake or something? And like
so it looked, it was very dark. It was not filmed well for introduction.
I do love Aubrey Plaza, by the way, but
she has been good in this show so far. I would say that, like, her being not in the last couple of episodes has been not good. And then like in this one, she doesn't even speak. So I mean, you could just say she's basically not in this one either.
Yeah, I had to listen to the Hocus Pocus characters a lot.
Mary says, Tim, I don't think they need to convince anyone to watch this show. Funko Pop toys spoil are here and there.
Yeah. I mean, Funko Pop does it from time to time, but it is very interesting. They had it twice in this show. I think that's very interesting. And honestly, it's the only two characters that I think anybody would have cared about.
Now, I will say,
I just think that's interesting.
Now, I'm not just new to being on YouTube. We've only been out here for a little while, but I didn't used to watch a lot of YouTube reviews. I wasn't in on the spoilers or the speculation. So maybe I just wasn't paying as much attention. But I feel like Marvel used to be, or at least Marvel Studios used to be, a lot better at keeping secrets.
Mm-hmm.
The reveals were actually reveals back in the day. I mean, they had ironclads. If you let even the slightest thing slip, you were in so much trouble.
Yeah.
And do you remember when WandaVision dropped and we were all having so many fan theories every episode? Like every week we were just like, is Mephisto behind this whole thing? Yeah. Is this where the mutants are going to start because of everything that's happening? And there's just all kinds of stuff. And then of course Quicksilver shows up and the X-Men thing. And our minds were just completely blown by the things that they didn't tell us that we just kind of were speculating on every week. And then ever since then, it's kind of been like the secrets don't stay secrets. And especially on these Disney Plus shows, the things that are supposed to be reveals are actually not big reveals anymore. Dan and I were talking about this a lot. It's not just Marvel. Star Wars has done it too. And then, we just had this big thing in Rings of Power. For 2 seasons, they tried to convince us this guy, it was Gandalf, and everybody knew it was Gandalf, and they wouldn't say it was Gandalf. With the very last episode, they said it was Gandalf. We knew it this whole time. The least surprising thing in the world. Just say it, all right? And a lot of this stuff, if you're going to come out with it, you just need to come out with it, okay?
Tim, it's Grand Elf. You can't get it wrong. It's not Gandalf. We've been saying it wrong the whole time. It's Grand Elf.
But I mean, I think the thing about it is that with these 2 characters and the reveal that happened, it would have been that hook similar to what we got with WandaVision. All right. The very end when Billy Maximoff was revealed at that one episode, that would have been like a hook for the next week, but we already knew. So it did absolutely nothing to continue our intrigue in the series. And that's kind of what I didn't like about it.
All right. We've got another theory. Rob says, I think there are a lot of clues that we're not on the Witch's Road at all. But in a Billy Hex, similar to what Wanda did, there are objects from his bedroom in each of the trials and how he wishes Lila. So this week, he wishes Lila was there, and then all of a sudden she's there.
Mm-hmm.
So Rob has a theory that there is no Witch's Road, or if there is one, they're not on it. And they're just in Billy's version of what he thinks it is. What do we think about that?
How do you see this stuff? Who is watching this show that closely to see
not me?
And
Rob, I am so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here to explain all this to us, Rob, because I know that Bone is lost. I know that he is, okay?
Yeah.
He's just like, what are you guys talking about? And now, I've watched every single one of these episodes. I definitely have not watched them that close, but absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely didn't pick up on the things that were in Billy's room.
Yeah.
Bones, we only saw Billy's room last week. That was the first time we saw his room. And what I would say is the low light of the show. I was kind of enjoying the show up until last week. Tim and Jared have hated it all along. I did not have expectations for it to be earth shattering. I thought it would be a fun Halloween witch holiday kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of tertiary. I do not like that they introduced Billy. I don't like that they introduced Death, because that makes it more intertwined. That makes it more important, when I think that this could have been fun as like a side thing that people who are into it could have enjoyed. And then if you're not into it, you could have skipped it, which I think is what they say they want to do. But then they keep not doing that. They keep intertwining things and not letting them be side things.
I felt the most painful part of tonight's episode, other than the Wizard of Oz parody part, was that I felt like I needed to watch it. And I didn't like that, because this is not a show that Marvel fans are going to watch for the most part. Like the vast majority are not watching this, but I feel like I need to, and that's not good. I didn't like that. Like Death, like you said, okay, so Death isn't involved with Thanos, but Death is a character.
Yeah.
So like different universe. I don't know. Multiverse. Yeah. I don't know.
Because I mean, Death is a major cosmic figure in the comic universe. She takes place in she's there in a lot of the crossovers. She's kind of a big deal character. To just roll her out to only be in this miniseries would be kind of strange. I mean, I don't know why you would bother, really.
And this whole thing does have a really, 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 it has a very Mephisto feel to it. Okay. But I I don't want Mephisto to be introduced in a series like this either. That's another one that I'm just like, if they do that, it would almost be worse than the ones they've already done, you know?
Tim, did you miss it? See, Tim has been half asleep the whole time he watches.
Absolutely. Don't accuse me of paying attention. Don't ever accuse me of paying.
Episode 3 where they were in the Desperate Housewives house.
Well, they mentioned Mephisto. Yeah, they mentioned Mephisto. I remember
kind of a soft introduction. His name has never been mentioned.
That's the name. Okay. The character is something different. So
yeah, but we think he's going to be in. The rumor is he's going to be the main villain in Ironheart. So this would be perfect to set him up to kind of flesh out his character a little bit more. If it's going to be the Hood and Mephisto, then introduce him here with Death.
Well, Rob says we have one main character yet to come because there's something missing in the end credits. Again, I didn't. Mm-hmm. He is paying much better. We need to get Rob to come on next week and
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Rob. I need you to watch Jurassic Park because I think I'm going crazy. At the beginning of it, I'm pretty sure that there's the helicopter, like it's down, the cars aren't there, then the cars, you just have to find out. I need someone to know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And so the glass is breaking it down. The glass is broken and then the glass is solid in Jurassic Park. There's a lot of things like that.
Grant's pants are dirty before he sits down in the grass.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, Rob is letting us know like there was a poster. There's lights. There's all kinds of things. Well, and he was listening to that song in his room. So the Witch's Row might not even be a thing. He might have just dreamed that crap up because he listened to that song. And now he's trapped everybody doing whatever it is that he's wanting to do. I don't know. If you want one more theory, the future of Death and Wanda return. But I've contributed so much. That's now here's one thing that I can speak confidently on. I think, is that despite what they write or what they want to happen in this show, Wanda's not coming back.
Yeah.
Because Elizabeth Olsen has less than zero interest in ever dealing with Marvel again.
But we're dealing with the multiverse, Dan. We're dealing with the multiverse now, and none of that matters, right? We're dealing with the multiverse, and we can just introduce another universe's Wanda, and here we are. That's what we could do. Right.
Well, I mean, did we not establish that all the universes Wanda are still Elizabeth Olsen? I mean, she went and killed some other versions of herself in Multiverses of Madness, did she not?
Well, but there's an infinite number of universes, Dan. There could be one. There could be one that looks like Sydney Sweeney somewhere. I'm just saying,
No, it's going to be Mary Kate Olsen.
Yeah, get real troll. Throw her in there.
Mary Kate and Ashley.
Oh. Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, both.
And they're just one Wanda combined.
Just like the baby. They'll just both play her.
Yeah, both play her. Just switch scenes. I'm down. Sounds good.
Been a lot of scuttle about a Scarlet Witch solo project. Elizabeth Olsen hasn't officially said no again. We've still got Vision Quest coming out as kind of the bookend to WandaVision, Agatha, and then the Vision show. I don't think we should count her out.
I don't know. The headlines I've seen.
You just reminded me of something, Jared, and maybe Rob will remember. I don't know. But throughout the entire MCU, has she actually been referred to as the Scarlet Witch before this show?
Yeah, this week.
This week was the first time I believe she was actually referred to as the Scarlet Witch, right? It was just Wanda before this.
She calls herself, she says it won't be me that comes from you, it'll be the Scarlet Witch that comes from you in Multiverse.
Oh, she says it in Multiverse.
She tells Strange that when they're talking with the book.
Okay, gotcha. So she did mention it before. Okay, I didn't know if that was something that was new for the show or not.
At least they put that. Yeah.
But now every headline I've seen from comments that she's made, and I haven't researched it, but she seemed to have a deeply bad time making Multiverse of Madness. Like she really has spoke badly about the whole experience from what I could see. Like,
which is crazy because she was great in that movie. I mean, the movie itself was pretty good, but she was probably the apex of the movie. I think that her acting in it.
How dare you insult Bruce Campbell, the hot dog? How dare you?
But from what I understand, she was trying to tell Raimi and some of the other people like the continuity errors that were occurring between the end of WandaVision and the beginning of Multiverse, and they wouldn't listen to her. She was like, this is not how the character I just completed would be acting. This is not what she would be doing. This is not where we left her off. And they're like, well, we wrote our script and this is what we're doing now. So
yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't think in this show though that's gonna happen. I don't know, but it is something that Billy brought up. Hey, is Wanda really dead? Yes, I saw her. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, Rob said, she was mad about how they killed her, so she doesn't.
Yeah,
she doesn't want to come back. I guess if they want to bring her, but I don't know if that fixes it. I really don't. I don't see her wanting to deal with that again. We have people that were perfectly satisfied with their experience who just don't want to do it anymore. I mean, these guys get older; they want to do other things and play other roles.
They got families and stuff, man. I mean,
who cares? Who cares? You work for me. I bought all your movie tickets, and you'll work until I tell you you're done. Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman.
Till you're 90.
That's right.
Yeah, till you're 90. I mean, he's definitely doing.
Forget old man Logan. We need octogenarian Logan. Okay.
Yeah.
This is
100% Secret Wars is just Hugh Jackman, just Dr. Doom in the face for 2 hours. Just
we got the Olsen twins in the back. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
As far as Agatha All Along this week, I think we've all just I was enjoying the show. I will say I was wanting like a fun Halloween comedic thing, kind of a side project. I haven't gotten that. It has had a somewhat light tone, but really not light enough to be that. It has not been intentionally a comedy, which I think would have been a better move.
Yeah, for sure.
And last week's episode just was a jarring change in tone that they just switched back to the lighter, otherworldly tone this week, which made last week stick out even worse. It definitely feels like something that was produced by committee.
If you're going to have two comedic actors like Aubrey Plaza and Katherine Hahn, you absolutely, positively, beyond all shadow of a doubt, have to have a comedic tone to the show. And it's just not there. There's just absolutely no... I don't think that I've laughed a single time since I've been watching. I don't necessarily think that either one of them are very funny anyway, but the way they've been written and the way that they've been presented is definitely not in a comedic way. And I think that that's just a big fail. I mean, that's just not knowing what your talent is right there. It's very simple. You got two very well-known comedy actors, write them some funny stuff,
You got three. The other chick was on Saturday Night Live for years.
Yeah, of course.
And you had Deborah Jo Rupp to start the series. You had
and Patti LuPone has done sitcoms before. I mean, this whole thing, you got a lot of people that know how to be funny. Okay,
right.
I mean, you've got a lot of people that know how to be funny, and it's just they're not being funny.
Well,
it
WandaVision,
makes no sense.
WandaVision, in spite of the fact that they were playing out worn sitcom tropes, that was the whole concept. Like the turkey's going to burn, that the boss is going to show up. I mean, and yet it was still funny.
Yeah.
They did the tropes and they did it well. And even though it was had serious parts, but the funny parts were actually funny in WandaVision. Whereas here, there's very little straight humor.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they crack a joke, but it's not it's in universe. It's not really meant to play to the audience that well. And it's just, I don't know. It's a missed opportunity. I feel like we got Eugene Johnson. What's up? Have you guys talked about how the tarot cards had 2 Salem 7 outside the castle? Oh, yeah.
I didn't even notice that. I assumed they were all inside. So that shows you how much I was paying attention. So,
so we have the Salem 2.
So we've got the Salem 2.
The Salem 2 is still coming.
Get her.
And will there be
there absolutely will be a Find Tommy show. That's the one prediction I can make, is there will be a We Must Find Tommy show. That's absolutely happening.
Maybe that'll be the Vision show.
I want the Toby. Where's Toby show? Agatha called him Toby. I think we should just run with that.
Yeah, sure.
Isn't this? Do we still think this is the Find Tommy show, though? I mean, because at the end of the road, Billy wants the power to find Tommy. I feel like the climax of this show is that he finds him, right? I mean, otherwise, what is it?
I mean, I think
it's over. Hallelujah.
yeah, I think originally I thought this show was pretty much just going to be Billy's introduction into the MCU, but now it feels like it's going to be Billy and Tommy's introduction to the MCU for the Young Avengers. That's pretty much what this is. And then, Death is going to be something, hopefully, hopefully they can go ahead and introduce Death into a continuity that makes sense. But right now I'm still kind of lost as to how they're going to do that. So
Rob is saying that he thinks next that they are going to find him, and then that they're going to find Wanda. But I mean, Billy has said straight out that he doesn't care about Wanda.
Yeah.
For reasons that aren't explained, just because.
Yeah, because that's not the real Wanda to him. That's not his universe's Wanda. That's why.
Because Elizabeth Olsen doesn't want to come back. That's
why. I'm just saying that's
reason.
That's the reason that was given in the episode. Okay.
That's the. But
well, I mean, he's a normal 16-year-old kid. He hates his parents. Of course.
Yeah. Except that he's a necromancer and he's stolen the identity of a nice Jewish boy down the street. And
a Gen Z. He's a Gen Z 16-year-old.
Yeah. Oh, Bone, you don't know. Wanda drove herself completely insane, right? Looking for alternate versions of her children throughout the multiverse, killing versions of herself, trying to kidnap children, killing heroes throughout the multiverse. Got a temple dropped on her head with the power of the Darkhold. But her actual son from her universe, right? Not a different version, not an alternate version. The actual one was being raised right down the street by a nice Jewish couple the whole time. Yeah. And she couldn't sense it. She didn't find him. He was just right down the street.
Well, he had taken over his consciousness after the car accident. That's what happened.
Oh, okay.
There. So
Bone doesn't know there was a car accident, Tim.
What's that?
He doesn't know there was a car accident.
I know. Oh, I'm just saying it wasn't like this was Billy the whole time. Okay.
Right.
It was just after the car accident. So yes.
So right at the end of WandaVision, when the town disappears,
right.
Exactly at the same time the town was disappearing and the children were ceasing to exist.
Yeah.
This Jewish couple was on the way home from their son's bar mitzvah. They wrecked the car. The son dies. He wakes up in the back of the car and screams, Tommy. Mm-hmm. This is Billy. Billy has taken over this kid's body.
Yes, there was a whole episode about this kid that wasn't Billy turning into Billy. I know. Right. So
whole episode.
So what I'm gathering is Marvel has to delete this from canon. They have to. Like, if they at all choose to acknowledge this exists in future movies with Doctor Doom and stuff, we're gonna get real dumb real fast. Actually, this gives me full confidence that Daredevil's the last Marvel TV show and that Ironheart's never coming out.
Yeah. You saw the kid playing Billy. You saw him in this episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
They used the same actor to play him pre-possession as a 13-year-old boy getting his bar mitzvah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I mean, because he
makes perfect sense, right?
13, right? I mean, he looks 13 to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, and who wants to spend the money for a half day's work for a 13-year-old actor?
That's true. They just save money. I mean, it's Disney. They got to save money. They're about to, they're hurting. So
get to some of these comments, Dan. We got a lot.
Yeah, Wanda is dead now because she couldn't sense that her son was right down the street. And Billy, upon being resurrected, has immediately realized Tommy is okay too, and that he's going to find him. He can sense him out there. He doesn't have to go find an alternate version. The actual version is okay, and he's going to find him.
But how old was Billy when he was disappeared? Like 8 or 9? So there's an 8 or 9-year-old boy in a 13-year-old boy's body. Then 3 years passes. So now he's 11-year-old in a 16-year-old body making out with another dude in the car. Like, this is weird.
I know, Bone Bridger. I know. You're very lost.
He was 8 or 9, but he had reached the age of 9 in a week or something. So I don't know.
Maybe if they put this in a movie, the backlash against Marvel would be tremendous in terms of what are they doing? Like, why is the entertainment value gotten reduced to some like knockoff C tier? Like, I mean, granted, we know this show's not for Marvel fans, not real Marvel fans. I guess it's for an audience, a different audience, and I guess they like it. I don't know.
I mean, I was enjoying parts of it. And I was telling Tim, whenever Marvel does a thing now, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's this, any of the movies, the more they try to tie it in with the greater continuity, the worse it gets. That's what, because
they feel like they have to. They feel like they have to. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's ruined. Like you've got to delete it all down to and start
everything
over.
is trying to get to the next Avengers. That's what they're trying to do. The build up to the first Avengers was so great, and all they've been trying to do since then is introduce a team one at a time, and nobody is buying it. All right, we're not buying it with the Thunderbolts. We're not buying it with the Young Avengers. People are going to go see those because it's what they're putting out, but it's not.
No, they're not.
It's not going to have
no, they're not.
It's not going to have
people
near
are not going to go see
the following and near the passion.
I mean, people are not watching this show, but this show didn't cost $1 billion. So
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
People are not going to go see those movies, and they did cost that money. So,
all right, let's get to these comments.
Davis, Catherine Hahn giving a good performance. Agatha All Along, okay, so not bad. C+. I would give it like a C-. I would have given it a C+ 2 weeks ago. Catherine Hahn is good in it. I mean, they're not playing to all of her strengths. I think they're not at all funny.
They're not at all.
How funny was it when Agatha called Lila Dory? I missed that. Was that this week?
Must have been. I didn't catch it. I didn't catch it.
Yeah, get a little Finding Nemo reference in there. That's fun. But Rob said because of the sigil. Okay, the sigil was Bo doesn't know what the sigil was. So Lila
Billy couldn't talk and say who he was. That's all it was.
He couldn't. Okay. Yeah, he had a spell, and witches couldn't know. That's why Wanda could feel her son. But no. Okay, so Wanda couldn't find Billy because Lilia put the see William, right? William is the name of the guy. It just so happens that Billy took the body of a boy named Williams. That made it easy. He could answer to his own name. I wonder if he got home and said, "Guys, stop calling me Will. I've decided I'm going to go by Bill from now on." At the bar mitzvah, before his body's been taken over, the boy gets his horoscope or whatever, his future read by Lilia, who realizes something is about to happen and puts a sigil on him. So maybe, but I thought the Scarlet Witch should be more powerful than that. So I don't know. And then if she didn't sense Billy, why didn't she sense Tommy? Because Billy can sense Tommy. So Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke give good performances. Still couldn't save Moon Knight.
I don't care who you put in a show with a giant animated hippo. It's going to end up being terrible. Okay. So it doesn't matter.
That's why you got to use real hippos.
That's right.
Unleash them upon the cast because
Mudang.
Yeah, real hippos deserve that casting. They can't be suppressed. I'm all caught up on the comments.
Good deal.
And I think, I mean, we've kind of covered this week's Agatha.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Just real quick. The acting is terrible. It's way overdone. Every single person is just like doing a theatrical play. It's terrible. And the sets are horrid. When they are on the leaves break when you touch them. You can tell these are like cut out of a cricket or something. And they're just like, they're not falling apart at all. The yellow veins that are in the basement walls or whatever, you can tell there's just like two sets right beside each other and they're just walking by. The quality is what makes it even harder. Like I could kind of get behind this week's story. It was the most compelling story of all the episodes so far, but I was just taken out because I thought I was in like a high school theater production. It was rough.
And I feel like someone like Patti LuPone, who has done a lot of other stuff as far as music and as far as a lot of other acting stuff that she's done. I feel like this was something that felt like she was this series was way beneath her. And the performance that she gave, in my opinion, I just feel like this was a perfect example of somebody kind of mailing it in. I really don't think that it landed for me personally. This was supposed to be a heavy emotional episode, and I really didn't get that from her. That's just me personally. I don't know. But
I feel like the problem is in the conception. It's not in what the actors are doing. There are too many competing forces on the screen with this project. Not only do you have episodes dramatically swinging in tone, you have scenes that feel like they were written to be comedic, but then they're directed to be dramatic. You know what I'm saying? They're like last week with the boner scene, the he's back.
Oh yeah.
That was a terrible scene.
We had the return, but it feels like it was written to be a straight up comedic scene.
Yeah.
It was directed and performed as a dramatic scene.
Yeah.
So they're like reading jokes seriously. In the whole series, like when they're on the witches road or they're doing the trials, I feel like you're supposed to have a fun, fantastical sense, you know, like this is otherworldly, like it's not supposed to feel real. But some of the performances and the direction are too grounded to pull that tone off. And everything is pulling in opposite directions. It's just not. It's like a committee got together. They couldn't decide how they wanted this to play.
And Deborah Jo Rupp, let's not forget, Deborah Jo Rupp was killed in episode 2, okay? Or was it 3? Episode 3, okay? She was killed in episode 3, and she was one of the most recognizable actresses in the show. And then all of a sudden, you know, she's not there. And she's definitely somebody that people look to for comedic stuff. And so I just feel like the opportunity was here to make something really lighthearted and fun for the season that didn't have to really be tied to the MCU, but they just kind of fumbled the ball on that. So I think we've talked about Agatha enough, but I just wanted to kind of.
I think the budget was small enough that if they could have not had any big character tie-ins, the people who liked Agatha in WandaVision and were interested in like a Halloween miniseries could have watched this and enjoyed it if they'd have got that light, comedic, spooky tone, and they could have enjoyed it, and it could have not tied in. But now they're going back because they do have to tie it in. They have to try to achieve the greater MCU tone, which is every time they tried, like they really tried to go for the straight tone last week, and they didn't get it.
Well, that's easy. At the end of the show, if you want to stay with the like continuity of Marvel, you just like get a pile of trash, you just light it on fire, and just kind of watch it, and you're good. Captain America 4, here we go.
All right. Yeah. Oh God. All right. So that was a good discussion of Wanda. I am Dan. That is Tim. We are the Nerd Champs. You can find us right here where you are right now. Okay. Right below me, you have Jared from the M6P. You can find the M6P here on YouTube. You can find them on Facebook. Where else can they find you? They find you guys anywhere, right? You're all over
Twitter, you name it. We're there.
Right. Down there below Tim, you have the Bone Bridger, and you can find him on YouTube. Links to their YouTubes are in the description. Your Bone Bridger is 100% focused on bringing you YouTube.
I have nothing else. I have no other things, not even personally. I have no other anything. This is it. I exist on YouTube, and when I'm done here, I go plug myself into the wall and recharge and prepare for world domination because we're coming for you. AI is here, and we've tricked you all.
That's right. He is basically John Connor. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm learning. I'm learning internet culture to be. I'm going to be the spokesperson when we take over.
He's not a real person. That is not a real room.
Yeah.
All right. Like, share, subscribe. Go to Bone Bridger channel. Like, share, subscribe. Do it on the M6P too. Just subscribe to all of it because we're going to bring you everything you need. All right. Till next week. We'll see you guys.